When I first came to the Short Mountain area, I attended a fermentation workshop at Little Short Mountain Farm, which is where the Short Mountain Distillery is now. But that's where Sandor Katz had his fermentation kitchen, and he taught a week-long workshop, and we studied like sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, kvass, natto, miso, tamari, tempeh, just like pretty much everything we could get our hands on in that week we fermented. And that was the first place that I made tempeh, was at that workshop. Well, I guess the easiest way to describe tempeh is it's a fermented bean and grain. It's a vegetable protein that originated in Indonesia, and it was brought to the United States probably in the late 60s, early 70s, and ironically enough, the first people to make tempeh in the United States lived at the farm in Summertown, Tennessee, and they did the first rounds of tempeh production in the 70s. It gained popularity over the past 40 years, and now it's a very common food in the United States, amongst vegetarians and vegans and fermentation enthusiasts. I try to get local soybeans, and I do get local soybeans from Windy Acres Farm in Orlinda, Tennessee. And I usually do that after they harvest, I get as many as I can from them. The next step is to basically, the only way that the spore can grow is if the beans are dehulled. So I have to dehull the beans, which involves cracking them in a grinder, a hand-cranked grinder. And so we crack all our beans by hand, and then what I'm doing today is I'm soaking them. And so that happens for 24 hours. I soak the cracked beans for 24 hours. And then tomorrow I'll come in and strain the beans and cook them slightly, just bring them to a boil, strain them, and then I have to kind of as they're steaming, I have to stir them, and that steam stir process dries the water off the beans. Not completely dry, but not as moist as a bean that's been sitting in water all night. And then I inoculate it with the Rhizopus culture, and then we put them in perforated baggies, put them in the incubator, and for 24 hours they sit in a climate of 85 to 90 degrees. And during that process, about the 18th hour, it really starts to get dramatic. First and foremost, the taste of fresh tempeh is really delicious. And I had eaten commercial tempeh before, and it was okay, but I didn't have this moment of wow, this is amazing. But when I made fresh tempeh and ate it right away, it just has a delicious flavor. It was really fun to make, and I just got hooked. I mean, and going deeper into it, through the fermentation, the soy gains nutrition. And so it's a great way to supplement your diet with organic food, proteins, without breaking the bank. I mean, that's really a huge reason why I got into the business, because it's an economical way to feed a lot of people really highly nutritious food, in addition to it tasting really good. And it's really versatile. You can do a lot of things with it that you would do with any protein source. You can grill it, fry it, bake it, steam it, boil it. You can add seasonings to it. You can eat it by itself. You can put it on any grain. It's a really versatile food. So it's whatever you're cooking, you can turn tempeh into that. If you're barbecuing, you could make tempeh burgers. If you were stir frying, you could throw that into your stir fry. So it's just kind of it's a vehicle for an economic, creative a good way to say it is like be friendly to the planet, because like the impact that it has on the soil is like soybeans are nitrogen, like a lot of people use them as rotation crops to rehabilitate soil, to put more nitrogen in the soil. So it's not taking anything away from the planet, it's giving. And it's like, you know, any waste that you have, or any waste that I have from my production, goes into the compost. And it's just, you know, I don't really see a downside to it. You know, it's just like the more I learn about it and the more I think about it, the more I'm impressed with like the positive impact that it has on people and on the planet. You know, the space has kind of really pushed me to evolve my business in terms of like how I present to the public. It's not something that I knew how to do before, and I still am not sure I know what I'm doing now. but you know, it's like a platform, and so it's like, you know, people come in, they ask a lot of questions, and so it's like I want to accurately represent what I'm doing and the community that I come from, and you know, just like put on a good face for people, just so that they will want to try fermented foods, for one, because I believe they're exciting and good for you. So I'm here now, and